Life of love. Life of love. With Joy Hilson.
Dear angels, dear guides, dear universe creator, thank you for bringing Aisha and I together today. We're setting an intention to bring forth a message for the highest good, to help the hearts that need to open, the brains which need clarity, and the ears that need to hear. Help us bring forth a message for the highest good. I call in my guides, my higher self, my angels, my team. I call you forth to help Aisha and I to bring forth her guides and her angels, as with your permission we'll work together and create this vortex of love, of acceptance, of nurturing, of support, of boundaries, all these wonderful things. We ask for your help to bring forth this message for the highest good. And we honor your time. We honor Aisha's life path, her courage, her divinity. We honor Mother Earth. We bring forth our tree spirits and Gaia. Thank you for being here. Thank you for energizing us. We have no idea how much the trees and Mother Gaia work to support us, to feed us joy, to trickle inspiration. And we honor what we can't see. We honor what we can't feel all the time, but we know that it's there. Thank you for helping us remember. And thank you for being part of this offering, the space, this container we're creating for this message. Please take what serves you and leave what doesn't. So I bring forth and I invoke this message for the highest good, again, with clarity and the intensity we need to reach the people that need to hear and the hearts which wish to soften. Thank you. Hello, dear friends, and welcome to another episode of Life of Love, where we gather each week to bring forth a message for the highest good, to bring forth inspiration to living your life of love, however it looks today, whether it's a messy life of love, whether it's an easy day to love yourself and your neighbors. And, we honor when it's hard too. So I'm holding space for all of that. And we had so much fun with our pre-interview. Thank you, Aisha. Oh, thanks for being on Life of Love. I'm really excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I just want to share a little bit about your precious history. You were an orphan, and you're born in Mongolia. You're orphaned at the age of 2, and since then you've been on this thrilling adventure that's taking you around the world, and now you're coming to us from Portugal, right?
Lisbon, yes.
Lisbon.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. And I'm really jealous because it's like really mild weather there, and I'm sitting here with my eyelash sweater in my basement, like cold.
Yeah.
So you're trained with an engineering degree in Norway, which this is wild because you're an artist now and you're in the spiritual realm. And I love it when, math and science just get presented in a way that is spiritual too. So I'm just really, really happy to have someone with your kind of experience and depth on my show. I hope everyone has a little snapshot of Aisha's path, right?
Yeah. Let's see. How much I can share today.
Yes. Well, I want to kick it off with, how you were brought up. Like, do you have any earliest memories of, did you realize you were an orphan? Did you have adoptive parents? Like, there's so many questions I have, and, your early years shape you so much. You're unconscious.
Yeah, I feel like, when people like many years ago, when people was feeling sorry for me. And I used to say to the people, I actually very good because I get to shape myself. I get to guide myself at figuring out what is good for me, like in very early age, I get to be independent. I get to learn how to, think about myself and how to navigate myself through so for me, it was, of course, in the beginning, it's not easy experience at all, because you're living in a very heavy, brutal environment that you don't even understand that it's heavy and brutal. As a kid, you don't understand anything and you don't have the same, like, perspective like adults do. And when I started to travel, of course, you're learning more things and seeing different way of being and learning new languages and understanding about kindness and love and joy and many beautiful things that I've been already capable of having as a kid. I've been very sunny, kind, joyful, happy all the time. But I didn't have friends. I didn't connect to anyone around me. I had friends all the time, but I didn't have like this best friend or the person that I would deeply connected with. And I remember that I always trying to belong. When I was a kid, I was trying to belong. I was trying to kind of like, I was doing my best to belong to the different groups and like thinking like which group I am. I can be in here, I can be in here or wherever. And I remember in the beginning when you're at school, kids is like very brutal and they say nasty things. They say like, oh, nobody loves you and nobody wants you. It's not easy for the kid to like kind of like accept that, because when you like having it as a kid, of course, I went through the suicidal time and I went through a lot of hard time in my early age. But the thing is, it's like a normal process of the environment that you're living in, and you're completely different from everyone around you because you have completely different way of being and completely different way of sharing yourself with the people. I've been leader of the class for many years. I've been very responsible. One side of me was very responsible, very good girl, attitude. And the other part, I was rebellion, especially when I became a teenager. I was very rebellion. I was very like wild and brutal in some ways. I end up in not good company. I end up like doing not good things. But it's normal, like, because you want to belong. As a teenager, you want to belong to the group and be cool, and I remember when I was 15 or like 14, 15, many of my friends started to die in a different accidents and different things that like it's normal. I also know that for the orphan, it's very normal as well, because nobody cares about you. Like general government doesn't have that capability of giving you that love, and I was, some time ago, I was thinking about that and I was like, all the kids need love and attention for like from the heart, like really care about other human being, other kid in the present moment, really care about their needs, their wants, their dreams. And I feel like, and pay attention to that. And I feel like as a kid, I didn't grow up. I didn't have that love around me. I didn't have that attention. So I get to be every time. I remember in the beginning, I was asking for that attention from adults. I was asking to give me that attention, but I couldn't receive because so many other kids around who's asking the same attention. And one day I just give up and I started to kind of like look outside, discovering outside world, just go and wander around. It's very good that I grew up in a safe environment. Nothing will like, nobody will kidnap you or like, nothing will happen to you. But the thing is like, you're free, completely free. My mind was completely free. So I always like, I remember as a kid, I was, one day I brought like a big frog. I found it. Maybe I was like, I don't know, like 4 years old. And I found it because I remember it was so big. I was holding it in my hand. It was so big for me. And I was so curious to know what it is because we didn't learn, nobody explained me about all these animals and lots of different things that exist. So for me, I never see anything like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get to go and show because I was alone, no adults around when I found it. And I want to show it to the adults. So I just grab it and I just go and brought it. I remember, and adults was completely went crazy. Everyone was screaming, yelling, and beating me up for no reason. I was like, as a kid, I couldn't even understand what's going on, what's happening, why, and nobody explained me nothing. Nothing. They didn't explain me why they did it. They didn't explain me what's going on, what's happening, like why they did. And I just decided, okay, next time I will not do that. I will not like bring anything to show them. I will show to the kids, but I will not show to the adults, because they're not nice to me. It scares me a lot. It scares
Right. And
me.
it was this magical, mysterious creature that you encountered and you just wanted to know about it and they scolded you. It reminds me of, when a child's exploring and you're like, stop, no. And then you've told that child, even though that child is in danger, the way you talk to that child makes them feel, like you said, every child is so sensitive to these things and it's unconscious. It's unconscious to react like that to a child when they're coming with. And so this kind of bonding and the security of being seen is so beautiful because you've transmuted it. You've taken your curious being, despite the fact it wasn't nurtured in you. Like, you've risen above this, and it's cheering for you, because
I got attention, but the attention was not the healthy one, let's say like this. You know, every time when I wanted to get attention, so I get to do completely crazy things to get that attention, but the attention was not the healthy one. Like, it was like just beating you up or scream at you or yell at you or like putting you in a corner, and that other kids was like laughing at you and you feeling embarrassed or something like that. So like that was type of that tension, let's say, I was getting because of my behavior or my my attitude, you know, the way I was just wondering. So it was like a period of my time probably where I was looking for love, let's say like this, because as a kid you don't understand and you just going and wandering around because you don't have that idea of this fear or that idea when nobody like teaching you or nobody explain you. I'm just feeling like in that moment in the nature, I didn't feel any fear at all. I'm just curious and you know, and I'm just feeling like everything is just my friends and like when I'm getting back to the community with the people, I feel scared to be there because it's every time it's something and they kind of punishing you. They have all this like a way of explaining you things in very like brutal and kind of like an punishing way, you know, and I didn't like it. I was feeling like it's supposed to be some other way. I don't know, but I just was thinking as a kid, I was like, it's some other way somewhere in the world. I don't know where, but I know that somewhere people treating other people with more like love and kindness, you know. And I didn't know because I always treat other people like with kindness and love, no matter what, no matter how much they hurt me, you know. But the thing is like one of my friends said to me, you're like so like you know, like very, very like loving and kind that people will beat you up and you just okay, continue until you like no energy and you will be there lying for no energy and you will continue say nothing because you're like so like peaceful within you. You don't have any kind of like anger or like aggression or like frustration. And I said, yes, I had it, but I just let it go. I just started to fill up that place was more like beauty and more like joy and more like understanding that I'm always supported. I'm always loved. You know, the God loves me. My angels is always with me. And I'm here to live my best life. And if something happened on the way, you know, like that's mean I didn't communicate it clearly enough, my boundaries. So people get to, you know, didn't respect. But and after a while, I understood it's not about my boundaries. People just have a need, you know, desire or like sometimes like obsession, and they don't, you know, they don't have ability to see as a human being as a human being. Sometimes people look at other people as objects, you know, that's like, I own you, you're my toy, or like something like that. They don't have ability to look at other human being as a, like other human being who has dreams and wishes, you know, like it's interesting because I look at other human beings like a human beings with their dreams, you know, their life, and I would like to help them when I can. And I feel like not so many people like that. You know, they have ideas and they're manipulating you. They started to kind of like getting something they want from you. And I'm feeling like that's not good. I mean, I don't say like it's not good. It's just like not right. It's,
and it's, yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around it when you're coming from a heart-centered place that somebody could be unconscious like that or be that mindless. Yeah, I can relate. And I'm often shocked to come back with compassion and love and know that I'm not an idiot, that, you know, that people don't think about this stuff. They don't consider that most of the people aren't really considering where you're coming from. They're just doing the best they can to get through their day. And, yeah, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you return to love. I mean, you mentioned your angels, you mentioned God. Yeah, and then I think that helps you set boundaries because you're like, well, this in my heart, this is wrong, and I'm going to stand up for myself, and I have the courage to stand up for myself because I'm not a punching bag. I'm a divine being, and even if that person's not acting like a divine being, I'm still a divine being. So yeah, let's explore that. What you do, what helps you.
I felt that already, like all my life, that I've been kind of like a special or like a chosen one or something like that. I had the voices, but I never felt it's something important, because every time when I was communicating that, adult was just like, oh, just go away. I was like about 8 to 9 years. I started to just read. I was like living in a library because I love to read. I started to read. I was reading thousands of books, and I like fairy tales, mythology, and many, many other amazing books, self-help, psychology. I started to learn about psychology in very early age. And I remember when I was 8, I found this news magazine where was like advertising about English school. And I wrote like long letter to that English school, asking them to send me their books and like disc and everything in English that I can learn English, because I explain them everything. I don't have money, I'm living here and this is who I am, and explain everything to them, and it was my own, and I send them letter, and they started to send me their books and everything, like. And they sent me for years. And I was learning myself English, because in my environment, nobody speak English. No, we didn't have an English teacher. I was learning myself. We have these cassettes. I was putting cassettes, and I was doing everything in my own, like doing my best to kind of learn it. But I didn't have so much discipline, but I was doing it, and after I was not doing it. So I was doing many like things that I think for myself. I was like, oh, why not to try this? Why not to do this? And when I was 10 years old, we had like a first class of geography, and our teacher of geography, she was like sharing with us about a wall. And I said to her, when I'm going to be adult, or when I'm growing up, I'm going to travel around the world. I'm going to see all these places from all this picture that here in the geography class. And she was like, of course, of course. And I did, and I went to all these places, and I did, and I was just feeling like I already was speaking the things that I'm doing, and I'm feeling like every time in my life when I'm turning back and looking, and I say like, I've done absolutely everything what I was talking about myself, even more things that I even didn't think about to do, and I still did. And, for example, when I was 15 and I was sharing with my friends started to die, and I was sitting there in the funeral, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, would I survive until 18? Would I be alive? I started to think about that, because I've been suicidal, I've been saved, and many things was happening in my life. It was many crazy things. And, but for me, it was just my everyday life. Like I get to handle.
That was normal.
Normal. And of course, it was not easy, but the thing is, it was kind of like a normal. And what happened is I wrote down that who I'm going to be until I'm 60. I said like, okay, between like 20 and 30, I'm going to travel around the world. Between 30 to 40, I'm going to be entrepreneur. I'm going to have my business, and my 40 to 50, I'm going to be mentoring people around the world. By 50 to 60, I'm going volunteering for UNESCO or UN or something like that, and just like traveling and just helping people. And I feel like everything was I was telling, I did it. I started to travel. I started to travel earlier than 20. I started to like in my late 20s, I become a businesswoman. I'm still like doing entrepreneur. I still do like different things. And I'm just feeling like everything what I was telling myself was like writing it when I was 15. And now I'm living it. And I know that now I already like rewrite the things, and I wrote like I'm going to live until 200 years. And I wrote like what I'm going to do, how I want to change the world for the better place, and, make things better. And I think like I have a lot of time to make it happen. That now I have a plan for next 30 years of my life, what I want to do here in Portugal, how I want to evolve myself, how I want to, like grow here and experience things here. So I have a clear idea, and this idea getting more clear for me in my head. And I feel like everything in life, we get to make an action, like create that action, create these ideas, create these dreams, and leave them. Like for real, just go and live. Nothing is stopping you except yourself. This is what I said to myself. Like nothing is stopping me except myself. In the end of the day, it's not about money. It's not about like your background. It's not about anything. It's about you, what you want to do with your life. And in this case, I'm thinking like what I want to do with my life, how I want to create and design my life. And I've been very like creative, but the thing is when you're young, you're following the path, what adults say to you. Oh, you get to finish the school, go to university, get your engineering degree or like your doctor degree, whatever degree, I want to be a journalist, but I didn't get in, with some some things because I really want to go in, and I worked towards that a lot. But that I got like very strong betrayal at school. It was very, very painful for me. I was crying and I was feeling I was 10 years, 11 years of my life. I was serving to the school, being like leader of the class, organizing events, doing so many things. And I am, staying in the last day at school where they promising me to put like a good scores and everything. And I didn't do that. Even so, I did like the original exams. I did like the exams that I didn't need to do. And I still did them. I spent a lot of time, spent money on like doing all of this. And they didn't do what they promised me. And I was feeling so like hurt. Like I was feeling like, oh my gosh, over 10 years of my life. And this is how they treat me because they just jealous of me being me the way I am. Like, I don't just follow in their order, or like I just do like always comment on things, I always have opinion, or kind of opinionated person, and it's like, and I've been like this since I'm a child. This is why I always stay in a corner, and all other kids was laughing at me because I always had like a strong tongue, to say something and also not just saying, but also do. In reality, it helps me in later in life, it helps me to be so active and proactive and straightforward and direct and honest. And I feel like I do my part. This is what I used to say to the people. I do my part. I do what I promise. Like, do you do your part? Like, do you do what you promise? Like, if you don't promise to me, you promise to yourself first. If you don't do that, that's mean you're not your words. And we only things what we have in this lifetime is our words. In the end of the day, what I said to you or to someone else, that I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm doing my best to make it happen for myself first. And other people is just, bonus. And that's what I used to say to the people, when I sent my art to the space and I had this dream, I sent my art to the Elon Musk, to Jeff Bezos, to Dirigent Branson.
Yeah, that's it. I wanted to talk about that.
So yes, and I just I create the art, the big artwork, and I send it to the offices with a letter to ask Elon Musk to send my art to the space, ask Jeff Bezos send me as a first artist to do art in the space, and I ask Richard Branson to paint my rocket, to paint his rocket, one of his rocket of Virgin Galactic. So I send it. In a late year after that, it was a project that's Elon Musk or like SpaceX send the art to the space with these 50 years like a celebration of the Pioneer 10. So I've been selected. They selected 2 of my artworks, and it's engraved on golden plates and is flying somewhere in the space right now. So I'm one of the first artists, in the world who has done it. And because it was my dream. But the thing is, before to make it happen, I went through like hell. It was completely crazy experience. All my documents were stolen. My van was broken. My life was completely over. Like, I just sitting like this was nothing. No phones, nothing, no money, no cards. And I was just, oh my gosh. And this opportunity when it arrived, I was living in the community. I didn't have any money. I was still like, it was not easy to like getting job because you don't have any documents. You don't have anything. And even to restore your documents, you get to make money. Like to go and make it happen. And so it took me over the year to restore it. But the thing is like, my friend was like the other saying, just like, why you didn't ask for my help? Because I didn't know how to ask for help. I was always independent. I always was taking care of myself in my own way. I had my own ideas, the way I want to do the things. And I always succeed in my own things. I was completely independent. I didn't depend on anyone. I always figuring out myself. And here I am, I get to ask for support. So first time I was started to ask for support in the community, slowly. I didn't ask like, oh, give me $1,000 or give me $10,000, please. No, I was, okay, how I can help you, how I can get a job, how I can do this. Like, I was starting to kind of like getting into living with other people and accepting other people, like as a community, living in the community and enjoying being in the community. It took me a while, of course, and I understood how powerful community can be. So eventually I was in a festival, so I get to send my art. It was a deadline. I get to send all the art, and it was like a whole thing. But eventually I made it, and that's what matters. I feel like every time when I'm going through hell, I know that after that, I will have such amazing, magical, I cannot even imagine how magical next journey is going to be after, like, what I went through the pain, through this suffering, and through all that, what I experienced last month, 2 months ago. I know that this month or maybe next month, something magical and like maybe my next biggest dream is going to happen. I don't know.
Right.
In reality, I just know something beautiful and magical is happening because all my angels is with me. God is loving me, and, because I'm still here. I went through so much already, and I'm still here. And this is what matters. It's like for some reason, spirit and angels wants me here. They want I continue to share my voice and continue to share who I am, the way I am with the world. And I'm feeling that right now, finally, I'm not feeling, afraid to share it in English, speaking in English, because I had an issue 2 years ago, like speaking, in the group environment. Now I improved so much, so like I've been already speaking in a web summit this year. And so I'm improving. And I know that by the time it's going to be many speaking events where I'm going to speak about myself or my journey or the things that inspire people. And I feel like it's important. It's really important to live the life that I imagined for myself because it's my life, and I'm just feeling like every time when you want to invite other human being in your life, you get to share and create, you know, together life or like connect two worlds in one world. And it takes time. It takes time because my world is completely different from your world, and how we're going to combine it and create something very magical and beautiful together. It takes a lot of time and energy and discussion and communication and observation and action. But like really mean it, really do it, really show up. And that's what many people don't understand because they have many reasons, many excuses, whatever. And I'm like, I have friends who's like wishing to go to Japan. That's their dream to live in Japan. And I said to them, just go first for 2 weeks to travel. Do whatever, like just do something towards that. And it's 20 years past, 10 years past. They're in the same place, doing the same things. They don't move. And they said to me one day, I just like to have it as a dream. I said, okay, that don't talk to me then about that because I want to help you to make it.
Because you're the little girl who grabs frogs.
Exactly.
Grabs that big fat bullfrog.
Gosh, yeah.
So I just have to interrupt because I'm just being like slammed with this because you're talking about, things fall apart, people let you down, you're at the bottom and you go through these metamorphoses. You come up as a rising phoenix. And it's just like, it's so amazing. And the metaphor of the frog, because the frog goes from an egg to a tadpole like fish, and then it sprouts legs and it becomes an amphibian. It becomes a land water being. And that's you. Like you're going to live in the magic of, I'm not restricted to water. I'm not restricted to air. I'm going to thrive wherever I am. And
Exactly.
so I'm just, and even in outer space, your art is in freaking outer space. It's just so beautiful and so inspiring. And I do want to talk to you about, like we have this idea that to have a community, everyone's so close knit, but the expectations are what makes it hard to be in a community. So I want to explore that with you because we talked about it a little before. Like when you have an expectation, then you always hope for the best. Like I always put forth, this is my best scenario, knowing that it could be nothing like I expected. When I release to the universe someone to help me, I'm at the mercy of whatever that person is willing, capable, able to do. And I have to be okay with it. And I see you so clearly because I used to get so frustrated. I'll just do it myself because I'm going to be let down and I'm going to feel bad. I realized I was shortchanging myself because I wasn't feeling connected to anybody closely. Like I didn't have a lot of close friends because I wasn't able to accept people where they were because I felt like they should come with me and see this light that I could see. But that's not my role. Like I can't bring everyone together. And some people are neighbors, and some people are close friends, and some people are close friends' neighbors. Some people are, classmates, and some people are business associates, but not everyone gets to the inner Julie. Like, not everyone gets my open heart. I'll offer that, but not the sanctity of being able to hurt me or to, I have clear boundaries on that. And I've learned like there's a difference, because unconsciously you'll get train wrecked, and someone who has a sensitive, loving heart can get run over, and your feelings get really hurt. And you want to escape the pain. And I hear you when you say you just want to get away from it all, because it's a real thing, because it does hurt when you give all yourself. So yeah, let's talk about how you deal with your different relationships and,
so that's for me.
boundaries.
Sorry. For me, for example, it's right, like expectations. I had like very high expectations about myself, and I'm doing my best to reach that level of whatever expectation I have on myself. And what I learned that I've been attached to the expectations, and that is not good to be attached, because we get to learn how to be accepting, or have the acceptance in our heart. No matter what, we don't need to have a clear picture of like, this is how I want it, because before, many years ago, I have this clear picture of something I want to achieve, and I'm just like working toward that picture, and that picture doesn't cannot be like fitted. And now I learned one thing. So I said, okay, if this picture doesn't work, I can like work with the picture that I created right now and make it slowly, make it more perfect, and create that picture that I have in my mind. But it takes some practice to do that, to align some things together to create that picture. It's possible, but it takes some extra effort and extra time to do that. It's also no attachment, no attachment, no expectations, no like having like very fast to let it go. When people betray you, or like whatever the idea of the betrayal, everything is just like, I call like, it's just idea or the perspective that we have. I just don't like when people say things and they don't mean it. For example, if my friends say to me, oh, I want to have relationship, I want to have husband, or I want a wife, and they continue to around, they've continued to have like many relationship, and they continue to go like on a dates or whatever, and I'm saying to them, well, why do you say that you want to have relationship if you like don't want to have any relationship? With your action, you don't move towards to have a serious relationship or marry someone. You just want to around. Just accept that within yourself. Fully honest, say that to others, that this is who I am. I'm not looking for anything serious. I don't want to have anything serious. But the thing is, just be honest, with yourself first. And this is why when my friends say to me, I want to have serious relationship, I'm like, all your life you didn't have any serious relationship, and now you're in your 50s and you want to have serious relationship? What are you talking about? You haven't reached that level of being with someone even 5 years of your life. How you can reach the level to be with someone the rest of your life? I mean, I'm not like judging, it's not judgment, but I'm just like seeing the pattern that people have. And after when they say something to me, and I'm like, no, you don't want that. You just like the idea of it. In reality,
right, or that's what they think people expect. Like, it's easier to just go along with the flow and say, oh, this is what people are doing, I'm just going to do what they're doing. And, they look happy, so I'll just mimic them. And they're not living to their joy. They're not being honest. They're not finding that part of themselves that's worthy of sharing with another person. So yeah, you have to, I just say compassion and love, that's their path, maybe they'll learn it or experience it or remember, like it's a remembrance of your divinity, that you are a one in a kind. Like, nobody else can do what you can do. No one else can show up the way you can. And so it's so important for you to explore that and to be that joy, that whatever that means. I went to a live show last night at the Fox. It was the Cirque du Soleil. It was at Christmas, and it was so full of joy. I mean, there were sugar plum dancers, and the men dressed up as reindeer, and they had this really cool acrobatic thing through the rings. They're dressed as reindeer, and everything was so joyful. And I thought, how amazing these people, this is their job. They go and dress up in bunny suits and reindeer suits and jump around the stage and do stuff we used to do as kids, like, jumping and swinging. And it's just like, oh, it was just so joyful. And I was so honored that I got to see that and experience. And you could tell they were full of joy doing these things with their bodies. And I could see their angels protecting them. I mean, this lady, she was being pulled up by her hair and spinning around from her hair. And I'm like, oh, her angels are so helping her do this right now. Like, she's communicated with those angels, because I mean, even her face was being pulled. You could see it. And I'm like, girl, it's just there's so many ways to be your unique self. And,
Exactly.
even there was a roller skating part where this man and woman were roller skating in circles, and she's like doing all these contortions around him while she's wearing roller skates and he's spinning in circles. It's just like, we are so freaking amazing. Like, the sky's the limit, whatever you want to do. And
Exactly.
so I love that
Exactly.
you're breaking through these barriers and the language barriers
Exactly.
and cultural, and yeah.
It's a lot. And I feel like I'm feeling like sometimes, I'm not like different from anyone else. We all have the same capacity. Maybe some people just don't see it right now. And I feel like just do your first step. Like, for example, when I was living in the community, I learned one thing about myself, that I don't know how to ask for support when, I need that support. I don't know how to express my emotions, because I don't know how to cry, because like I haven't cried. People like are saying to me, get to learn how to cry. It's important. You're a woman. It's good to cry time to time. Why you not crying? And I'm saying, like, I don't like to cry. Like, it's not about like I cannot cry. I can cry. I also cry time to time, like, but the thing is like, I can just cry one day, and after the next day, I just wake up and say like, okay, what I get to do right now. I remember there was a moment when people allowed me to be in that space, like just kind of like be weak, be vulnerable, like learning how to relax, learning how to like let it go, not let it go, but kind of like become more chill within, feeling more like support, like from outside, that I'm always like supported. I can trust, to the process of life. And I started to kind of like getting more melted. I started to feel more melted. And after that experience, I feel like it doesn't matter how much people hurt me, or like how much I hurt myself actually, because of all the ideas that I have. My heart become like a kaleidoscope. So it's become as many different colors. I put them together. Every time it's broken again, I'm just putting it together again. And I'm just like, open up again, it's a new heart, or like a new colors. I just change it a little bit. It's a new kaleidoscope. When you're like moving the kaleidoscope, it's always different thing. The same as a heart. I'm just saying to myself, like, okay, my heart have a different shape right now, and a different, because I get to kind of like renovate it, or like rebuild it, or redo it again, and it's okay. And like, because I've been already so many times, so I'm kind of like, don't have it anymore, that same capacity of isolating myself, or running away, or like fighting, or screaming, or doing something. I'm just feeling like, whatever, let's talk, like, let's giving time to calm things down. And after we talk again, and figuring out things and find solution, because I'm very solution oriented. I love solutions, but people are not looking for solutions. I have friends who not looking for solutions. They just like to have problems, and I accept them. But the thing is, I learn one thing: I love them. I will continue to love them, but I don't, I don't want to spend so much time with them, because they're just creating a lot of drama in their life. And I'm a drama-free person. If like drama is coming into my life, I'm like, I already see that. I already see the conversation started in the way people using their words. If they will continue to speak like that to me, I know it will create to the drama after a while, because their life is a drama. That's why I started to say to the people, listen to yourself. Like, you creating a drama in your own life. You're a victim of yourself. Why are you doing it? I mean, it's okay to be victim time to time, but it's at the same time, we're all humans. You can be weak. You can, be sorry about yourself. You can feel guilt or shame, whatever. It's all normal things. And at the same time, understand that we're all human beings. We all fail. the beauty of failure is like accepting that failure and learning from that and move forward and say, okay, cool, I learned something beautiful about myself, and continue to move forward and fail as much as you can. Because this is how you learn and ground yourself better, understanding that there's no separation. It's all one. So every time when you have a conflict, go look within yourself first, where I have a conflict first within myself, what I don't like about myself, where I'm fighting within myself. And after you like find a solution, like work on that, you don't see any problem. You will see
Right.
you will see how beautiful world is. I have a friend right now, and every time we're like talking on the phone or like hang out, I'm learning how to understand their jokes. So like when they're like we're laughing or when we're making jokes or something like that. So like for me, I'm learning how to understand completely different culture humor by like communicating with me and giving me a space to actually understand myself better and don't take things seriously or personally, Don't so many people do that because I have still friends who's like, if I say to them, oh, you're funny, they don't like it. They don't like to be funny. And I said, I love to be funny. I prefer to be funny than boring. This is what I used to say, like, I prefer to be funny than boring. Why you don't like to be funny? And everyone's different, so I accept that. And so like I have friends who's like I can laugh all day long and they just like continue to laugh, even like when we writing each other on the chat is like laughing and laughing and laughing because just chatting, not sending this videos or memes or something like that, just chatting and like having this understanding of the jokes, like even something like very simple ones. It's like this is what I say. Sometimes they even sarcasm, it's something that you can learn from, and people like not open to learn about themselves more, who they really are.
Yeah, because it's easy to, and I've had this experience where I'm completely joking, but someone took it the wrong way. And it's just like, I felt like I got punched in the stomach because I was so misunderstood. Like I would never do what that person thought I was doing. I would never, never, ever. And I was just like, wow. I had to clear my field from it because you still suffer the energetics of their hurt, even if you didn't mean it. And the big thing is seeing in yourself what upset you. And, it's that rejection or being misunderstood. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to go for their dreams, because if they're sincerely going for their ultimate dream and the world rejects them, that's serious pain. But the fear of it is so much worse than the actual reality of it. That's the breakthrough. That's the quantum leap. You had something on your website about the trees, and it resonated with me so much because I have favorite trees. When I go and touch them, they give me energetic, they spark things in me. I see, like I close my eyes, I see lights, like bursts of light and shapes, and like they don't talk to me so much. Like my friend can say, oh, this tree's saying this, this, and that. I don't really get words. I just get feelings.
Me too.
And, so I wanted you to talk about your experience with the trees. And do you have favorite trees?
Or like not bamboo, I don't know in English. It's like a big tree. It's very popular in Florida. They're huge.
Palm tree?
It's not a palm tree. It's a different ones. It's like a liane.
Is it the
like
one, the banyan trees?
Yeah, the banyan trees. Yeah.
With the, they look like they have fingers.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
That
Oh,
one.
yeah, I love the banyan trees.
It's very beautiful. I love that. And I was like, that's one of my favorite trees. I will go and visit one of them tomorrow. Like for me, when I started to connect with the trees, it happened many, many years ago when I was living in Norway, and I was spending a lot of time, like learning about myself. I had like this, mentor, and I had a website, and I was doing all of that in Norway, and people were talking to me about very heavy things. And I was like, my boyfriend at that time was a doctor, and he says to me, listen, that is not your field. You have to go to the like qualified specialist. You're not giving that type of like
they need
advice.
like a psychiatrist or something. Yeah,
like
mental
they need
health,
like a mental really help. It's not like your your field. So I had like a different group of people, like couples, and like, by one, people were talking to me, sending me messages. And after I had a meeting with them, like I had like developing the program, and I was learning a lot about like I was reading a lot that time about spirituality, about psychology, about like being open-minded, and how to learn about talking to the spirits and talking to the angels and talking to the trees. And so I started to talk to the trees, and I started to hug trees, and I had my favorite tree. It's like a Christmas tree. And I was going there every day, and I was talking to her in the morning, or like sometimes in the evening, and we had this like long conversation sometimes. And I feel like trees is always like you connecting with them. You have this like a way of connecting with a tree. You become like a part of the tree. And when I moved to America, in Florida, when I become like I was living from my van and become a hippie. I call it a hippie life. So I was really living from the festival to festival, selling my art, doing like I love it. I love that life, a hippie life as well. It was great life. But the thing is like it's not it's not what I am and who I am. This is what hurts me so much, because I went that and I knew that it's not something like, and everyone around me said to me, don't do that. It's not your like, and I don't care. I go. The point is like I learned. I didn't use the shoes for over the year. I was walking barefoot everywhere for like
Wow.
over the year in the restaurants, no matter where. Like I was like, I just started to put the shoes probably like late 2020 in 2021, like, and I was not using shoes for like over the year. I remember, and then my friends was all like every time telling me like, you get to put the shoes on. It's very dangerous. But I never had any issues, never. And I said to them, it's the Mother Earth is always protecting. We're getting more closer to the Mother Earth. I was always hugging the trees. I was climbing the trees. I was sitting on the trees. So like when I slowly started to get back by the end of the 2022, after like all these things started like happen to me, I get to go back to the normal after the community and this festival life. I started to say to myself, I get to come back to the normal life, like a normal, like a society. And it took me a while to kind of like even integrate myself back after being like a year and a half like a hippie. It's like you're living in a forest, you're very independent, you're like living by yourself, whatever, doing your own things. And here you are, you get to come back again, like to the reality that in the matrix, we call it like this. So you get to kind of accept all these things around you. It took me a while, because I was still climbing the trees if I want to. I still was doing all the things in the city. My friend was like embarrassing. They said to me like, please don't embarrass me. You're an adult woman. Don't do that. And I was like, couldn't even understand why I cannot do that. Like, if I feel like to do that, why I cannot do that? Why are you feeling embarrassing for something that you shouldn't be embarrassed at all? It's not your business. It's like, just let me be me.
Mhm.
But I started to understand people have this shame and they have like, I don't have it. I mean, I just generally, I didn't have like a shame to be me. Like I was thinking like, why I gotta be ashamed to be me? Like since I'm a kid, I was always feeling like, if I'm not going to do that, who is going to do that? If it's not me, who is going to do this? And like, I didn't have any kind of like ideas, oh, the prince is going to come and save me. I knew that I get to go and save myself, and find solution, figuring out and everything. And I'm just saying to my friend, like sometimes when I was in very early age, like when you're like early, or like just entering your 20s, I remember my friends was dreaming about this Prince Charming, and everyone is like, I never dreamed about that. I was like, I never had this idea. I want to be married with kids and having this fairy tale house and having this in my mind. I didn't have that. I was like, always want to travel, explore new places, going on an adventure like Indiana Jones or Lara Croft. I'm a scuba dive, I'm riding the boats. I do like many different things that I enjoy, outdoors life very much. And it doesn't matter my relationship, my romantic relationship. I used to say right now, like, you know what? I'm not looking for anything. Like, I'm fine. I'm very happy by myself, because every time I was thinking like, why am I entering a relationship and I'm getting more unhappy because this person trying to control me, trying to manipulate me, trying like doing all the things to keep me around just because they feel like they want to own me. And I am like independent human being. I'm a free human being. So every time I'm communicating with them, I'm a free human being, and I can do my own things and I can create my own realities. They do like not good things, but a lot of manipulation. Like a lot of this like way of like why I should stay, why it's important for me to be with with him or something like that. And I'm like, I don't need to be with anyone if I don't want to. That's my idea. Like I'm actually way more happy to be alone. Like I'm so happy, I'm so joyful, I'm so full and complete to be me, myself and I. And every time when I'm sharing that with people, they say to me, "You're crazy." I said, "I'm not afraid to die alone. I'm not afraid to be alone in a house. I have so much to do every single day when I'm by myself. I'm so much to do. I'm never bored by myself." And this is the funniest things, people very scared to be alone. They have this idea of oh, I get to marry, or I get to have a baby, or I get to I'm scared to be alone. And I'm like, why? We're coming alone. We're going alone anyway. You're always surrounded by people. Always. If you want to, it's up to you. You can volunteer your time. If you're old, you can do so many things to be socialized with other people. Ask for support. Ask your friend, for example, do you want to live with me? If you're feeling lonely, some friends maybe move with you if you want to, but everything is optional, in lifetime. So I'm feeling when you're old, it doesn't matter. Get to the communities, so many elder houses, or so many things that we actually so much to do. If you in that house, if people say to me, "No, I don't want to go in that house. I don't see myself living in that elder house in elderly environment." It's
like a retirement
house.
Yeah.
I'm but you're afraid to be alone. Then you will not be alone.
Right, you will be
with other people. And I'm just saying all the solution. I'm always bringing them solutions, because they're getting scared, they're getting afraid. They started to kind of overreact about things. And after they started to take it personally. And I'm I'm just bringing solutions, brainstorm with you right now to find a way that you're not alone. Actually, you're never alone.
Never alone. It's a myth of separation. And I love how you live your life unscripted, and you want other people to have an unscripted life. You have these ideals and, dreams, but what's the magic around? And I think that's the secret, is finding joy in the everyday. Could be mundane, but it's the everyday magic that you can tune into if you're not looking for the script.
Exactly.
When you're following the script, it's just a recipe for disaster. Write your own script. Figure it out. It's worth it. You're worth it. So I love this inspiration. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Really, it's so much to from my lifetime. I experienced so many different things, and the way I deal with that, and the way I organize my life around myself and my friends, and some of my friends love me, some of my friends afraid of me, and I'm feeling it's okay, I accept all of it. I love all of them. But the thing is, it's just I'm learning. More of my friends who knows me for 20 years, I have friends who knows me for 15 years, for 10 years. And they say to me, all of them say to me one thing: I have the same core belief. I always kind of the same, always positive, always happy, always have solutions, always open to to do things, always very easygoing, very light, and very easy to do things. It's always find time to do things. So, if I care about other human being. And I'm feeling some of my friends started to appreciate that more, through the time, and actually see that. So some of my friends never will see, and they have all this conflict within themselves, and they're putting it on me after a while. And then this is when I started to feel that now. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to talk to you. Maybe I will not talk to you for months, 2, 3, whatever. I'm fine,
Yeah, you'll find that you drift away from the people that the energetics aren't there. And I've been doing this thing where I meditate. I've been doing it for a couple days in a row now, where I'm meditating my golden timeline. I'm inviting everyone who wants to join me in the energetics and the ethers. I'm like, here's my friends and my family. Anyone who wants to join me, I invite them at a soul level to join my golden timeline.
That's
and
beautiful.
This is something, and I'm also removing any Luciferian AI control or any kind of thing that would prevent the highest timeline for humanity and my golden timeline that I'm committed to. So I feel like you're part of my golden timeline, and I can't wait to meet on the other side, and we can be dancing and doing cartwheels and flips, going, And your butterflies, they're going
Yeah.
to be everywhere.
That's
Which
for
butterflies
sure.
are
My butterflies is
metamorphosis
everywhere.
too.
Yeah, I love butterflies. They're beautiful. They're really beautiful. Butterflies is
Well,
one of
so
my favorites.
how can people, can they see your art on the SpaceX? Is it on the website? Or how can
You can
people
see
explore your art?
you can see my art on my website. It's Aisha.today. It's AISHA dot today. And you can also find my book. It's Joyful Living Guidebook on Amazon. It's like you can just look in Joyful Living Guidebook by Aisha Makara and you find it over there. In my website, you can see my art, some of my artwork, and you can also book the time with me. I give like mentorship program right now. I'm mentoring people, and I'm also open for speaking opportunities, to any speaking opportunities.
Well, I adore your path, and I'm with you, and I cheer for you, and I support you, and I send you so much love from across the ocean.
Joyful living. Namaste.
Mwah.